Well, hey, welcome to episode 3 from here inside the RV. Now, for this episode, I want to show you the RV itself, and I also want to share how I'm doing things day to day in here, and I also want to make sure that I'm showing you some of the problems I've run into and how I've overcome them. Because remember, from the beginning, I told you we were in this together, and we were going to learn together. So let's dive into this episode of Victor's RV. Go. We'll give you a little bit of the outside. Big awning. Check this out. Got a TV for when I'm sitting around outside on the campfire. Cool, right? For the outside. Brand new TV. And check it out back here. We've got like a little mini bar area. So you got your fridge. You can load up. Little sink. When you're hanging out, if you want to cook, you need to clean stuff or whatever, right? So there's that. Very cool, right? A little walk around the outside of the big beast. She's 30 feet long. So I'll slide out there, makes the inside bigger. You'll see when we get inside. So this is the motorcycle part. I got a hitch carrier, which works out great, just slides into the hitch. However, I found that I wanted a little more support to prevent the bike from going like this. So what I did was got some bed rails and cut them that hold box springs. And all I did was put it onto the frame of the hitch. And then as you can see, just bolted them into the carrier. Now, while I was under here, I noticed this lovely fact. Wires sitting on top of the pipe exhaust for the generator. Melted on there. I'm going to have to recut that and tie that up. Would have never noticed that if I hadn't been doing this project. All right, and here is the completed project. Well, welcome. Come on in and see Victor's new home on the road. All right. Oh, look at that. It came with a mojo. Wow, it came with a mojo. That's fantastic. All right, so here is the driving area, of course, my big cab. The only flaw with this, the seats were peeling, and they are... Gave me a huge discount, and I have to get those redone. I will get seat covers for the time being. All right, so this is a bed that comes down, all electronic, comes down, extra space. Also, the couch folds out into a bed. There's that area. And my little dinette area, which will be awesome. Oh, one thing I didn't show you since I'll be working from the road. Passenger side, this turns into a desk. So I have a full desk area with a plug. So I can do work while I'm on the road. Alrighty. Full kitchen. Yes, I'm gonna have to learn how to cook. Everything you need, stove, it's all powered by propane. Full refrigerator built in, which is awesome. Of course, bathroom, you have to have it. Nice, it's actually a nice full shower. One of the features I love. Check this out, dog bowls slide out on the bottom. Very cool. So you saw the sleeping area. Oh, that's for guests. Wait a minute, I have my own bedroom. All right, here we go. Queen bed, another television, closets with space. Have a built-in radio here, speakers up on the ceiling. There you go. There's the inside of my new home. Well, here I am. It's a Friday night in Charlottesville, Virginia. The weather's terrible, and I don't feel like riding the motorcycle to dinner. So I'm going to do 2 first-time things. I'm going to cook in the RV, and I know this sounds crazy. In life in general, it's the first time I'm cooking. I promise you, I go out to lunch and I go out to dinner. The only thing at my house is cereal for breakfast. I had to YouTube how to cook pasta and how to cook chicken in a pan. I know it sounds silly, but hey, that's part of the adventure. So I hope it's edible. I'm actually staying at a farm right now, and it is miles from the nearest town. So let's come along on this adventure, my adventure, a new thing for me, which is cooking. time for everything. And it's the first time I've made a chicken pasta dish. I'm pretty excited. It's a big deal for me. I know those of you out there who cook, it's no big deal, but I promise you, it's a big deal to me. Anyway, here we go. Chicken pasta. So one of the things I have to do on the road is find a laundromat because my RV does not have a washer and dryer. I didn't really think about that when I bought it, but oh well, it's all part of the experience. And who doesn't want to spend their evening at a lonely, all by yourself laundromat? Well, here we are about halfway into the journey, almost getting to the Florida-Georgia borderline. So people asked me when I started this adventure, hey, are you nervous to drive something that big? Well, I actually happen to own a fire truck, and not just any fire truck. It is a fully functioning real fire truck. So that is a very big vehicle to drive, so I'm used to the size. The difference in this is the fire truck is like a tank. Nothing moves that because it's so heavy. When you're driving one of these on the highway and a big 18-wheeler comes next to you, it pushes you over to the side, and that took a while getting used to that. I'll show you what that's like here. Okay, well that video didn't really show it too well, but I promise you when a big rig goes by, the whole thing wants to shake and move from the wind. So it's definitely something to get used to. If you're going to go down the route and get an RV like I did, you can do it! Have fun! Get out there, see the country! All right, chalk it up to newbie. I turned on the water. First time ever turned on the water. Not a lot of pressure, because guess what? You have a water pump in these things, and you got to turn the water pump on. And water pump. Boom. Hopefully, that fixes the situation. Let's see. No, we didn't. All right, so let's talk about why that was completely wrong. Had nothing to do with the water pump. The water pump is what runs your tank internally when you can't be connected to water. I should have known that. So what it was is the combination of a water filter and what's known as a water pressure regulator really constricted the flow of water into the RV. Now I will tell you, I went and disconnected the water filter and had great pressure, but the water was disgusting. So I don't ever recommend doing that. Always use a water filter. As far as the regulator goes, I'm finding out the pressure really hasn't been that much from standard hookups in the RV parks. So I've been bypassing this and just keeping the water filter. So this sucks. The air conditioner's been running all day because it's so hot. Now it's been leaking. I'm catching it with pans, and I was working on my computer writing tracks. Friggin' terrible. Terrible. I'm catching water in the pans. Oh. So here we are on top of the RV because the AC unit has been leaking into the RV. So it turns out it was a clogged drain pan, and I'll show you what that looks like. So right down in here, you can see it's still clogged with a bunch of debris in here. And I'm gonna have to take the pan out and clean it. And so here is a better view. You can see there's a bunch of debris in there clogging up. It's supposed to be like that and like that. So it overflows and goes into that hole, which is down into the RV. Not good. All right. Well, imagine this. You're going to bed, the AC works, everything's fine in the RV. And around 4 o'clock in the morning, you wake up because you're sweating. But this is what happened. I had a complete power loss, and this scares me the most because during the day, I am out seeing dealers for work. The dogs are alone inside the RV. So here's what happened. Couldn't figure it out for the life of me for the beginning. Called my dad, who helps me out with everything. We troubleshot. We could not figure out anything. He found Thor's tech support. Thankfully, they answered. Was on the phone with them for an hour. We could not figure out what it was. Turns out it was a very small thing. Check this out. So in this compartment, it's the house batteries. These power the RV when you're not plugged into power. It's a temporary thing. But when I lost power, the RV was trying to run all night on just these batteries, and which is why they drained. So the tech person told me to look in here for a fuse, which we could not find. Take a closer look. Nowhere in there is there a fuse. So underneath your bed, you have the same thing you have in your house, just a smaller version. Breaker box, fuse panel, whatever you want to call it. And we looked at these and everything was fine. None of them were tripped. They were all in the position that they needed to be. Now remember, when I looked, all the breakers were fine. But one thing we missed were the blade style fuses. And the two fuses here were blown. Once those were replaced, surprisingly, it fixed everything. RV was functioning back to normal. So what I should have done from the beginning was get a surge protector. This not only tells you if the campground is wired correctly, but also protects you from brownouts and blackouts, which is most likely what tripped my fuses. All right, so I'm closing with this one because it's the one that's most near and dear to my heart because clearly I want the dogs to be safe while I am not here. Power and consumption of electricity is something you gotta really watch. One thing I found out, while I'm plugged into the power from the campground, if the RV is drawing too much power, it's gonna trip the breaker outside, and I've done that as well. Things to do to avoid that? Luckily, this RV also has propane, which will run the refrigerator and the water heater. So I've switched it to that so the AC is drawing power and not sharing it with anything else in the RV. Other things that I've learned now since talking to tech support, I know where the fuse panel is for the blade fuses, which of course, as we saw, cut power to everything when those blew. So pretty much set. Hopefully this will be the last problem when it comes to this for the rest of the trip.